Hi, welcome to Chad's Silversmithing. Before we get too far into the video, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, that really helps to get my channel promoted, and I do appreciate that. I also love it when people leave comments. I love to hear questions about the video, constructive criticism, if you want to tell me how you do things, or if you want to suggest a video. Those are all great things to put in the comment section. So a couple of times I've done some everyday earring videos because pretty much every person I know who wears earrings has a pair or two of really comfortable earrings that they wear almost every day. They go with a lot of different outfits, and so today I thought I'd do some simple kind of everyday earrings, 3 different pairs that you might want to include in your projects. I think they'll be pretty. So before we get started though, I want to thank some groups of people. First group is my patrons over on Patreon. I really appreciate their support. Not only have they created a wonderful community over there with lots of talented people, they're kind of my primary financial supporters, and I do appreciate that more than they know. The other group is my YouTube subscribers, and we just passed 17,900, which is awesome. Thank you for that. I do appreciate the really nice comments. It's nice to know when people let me know that they're getting something good out of these, and that makes me feel good. So thank you for that. And thank you for the contributions like the Buy Me a Coffees and the Super Thanks. Materials have gotten relatively expensive, and I only see them going up from here, so that really does help a lot. So thanks. All right, well, let's get started on these projects. So this is one of my design idea sketchbooks that you can get on my merch store. There's several different varieties. This particular one has fractions of an inch to decimals to millimeter conversion table on the back, which I find super useful. There's another one that has an American wire gauge to millimeters, which I think is useful for people overseas who don't use wire gauges like we do over here. I like them because it gives me a nice place to draw up my designs. This was yesterday's Patreon video. So I sketched up some real easy ones, no stones in these, but I think they'll be kind of classic looking. I made a prototype for each one, so I'll show you those in a second. And then we'll build a second one, and I'll show you how I made them from, by doing it in front of you. Then we'll get them polished up at the end, and I'll show you the final result. So first one's going to be made out of 16 gauge square wire. These pieces right here are really the bulk of the earring. This stuff that I was drawing in here I decided to not use because it was going to make it a little bit too busy, I think. This is just a silver ball that I melt out of some scrap, and then I got 18 gauge, which is 1.02 millimeter round rings. All of the posts on these are going to be 20 gauge sterling silver round wire, which is 0.79 millimeters. So, and all of the rings are going to be that 18 gauge round wire, with the exception of this one, which is 16. So, the second one is going to be kind of a feather. We're going to make a feather out of a piece of half round and put some loops on it. This is going to be a silver ball and flattened out, and then I have a stamp that has a little star pattern on it. Kind of a starburst like that. So I'll just hit it with that to give it kind of a little star shape. The texture on the piece of half round that we're going to kind of taper into a marquee shape, we use the edge of my chasing hammer. It's got kind of a sharp edge on it. We can kind of ding it at that direction and make it look like a feather. And then finally, this is, like I said, 16 gauge round wire, just another little silver ball. This is 12 gauge square wire that's been flattened on both ends and then filed narrow on the one side. I annealed it, and then I bent this around into a loop so it fits right over the little ring there, and I textured it with the chasing hammer again. So let me show you the examples I made of those. They've been on the pickle for a little while. Alright, so there's the first one that we're going to make. See, it's just got that 16 gauge square wire kind of made into those shapes. And then I added some 18 gauge jump rings. I don't know if that one's, I think I need to resolder this one. I didn't get that one soldered, so I'll do that somewhere along the ways. Second one, where'd that go? The one with a little feather here. So we got kind of a little feather and then just a little starburst pattern on that thing up top. Oh, this is, I think I used 18 gauge on those, but if not, I used 20 gauge. So I'll make some and we'll see how they look. It might be 20 gauge. So, but yeah, that's what those ones are going to look like. And then the last one will be kind of like this. So it's got kind of that light catching kind of edge of the chasing hammer hammering, and I think it'll move nice. So it should, swing sideways or forward. So you can see it's just bent around there. So we'll start with one of these here, and we'll have to find some 16 gauge square, which I just happen to have right here. To start with, we need to take two pieces and file them at an angle so I can solder them together into kind of a V shape. And we'll do that and kind of shape it into this top piece up like there. And then we'll create this secondary piece out of two more pieces after we file them the right way and bend them, solder them together. And then we'll, I have another silver ball here. I think that's the size. I made it, since I was making two silver balls for each pair of earrings, I went ahead and made them at the same time so they would be consistent. So we'll just add a post to that and a ring, and then hook them all together. I should probably use this one as the guide, since I need them to kind of match. It's going to go to about right there. So we'll cut it off there and cut a second one the same length. Okay. Make sure these are flat. That looks pretty good. So let's solder those ones together. If you haven't been to my channel before, I have hard silver sheet solder, which looks like this. I use a liquid flux that I dribble on with a dropper bottle. My torch is a Silversmith model. It's the acetylene air model that they have. Really nice torch. I use a #1 tip pretty much. So, a little bit of solder there. I'm probably going to cut some more just to be safe. The other thing is I primarily pick solder things, which is where I pick up a little bit on the end of my soldering pick and then place it where I want it. If you're interested in seeing a video about that, here's a link for one up there. I think it's a pretty decent video, and it's a skill that really has helped me to come a long way, so I think it's worth learning how to do. I'm going to kind of try and use this as a sort of a guide. I'm going to file the end. I filed the top of this one flat just a little bit to make it attach to the ring a little bit more nicely. I'm just going to flatten that a skosh. Close. If you need to brace your piece when you're filing it, that's fine. I'm just kind of an air filer. Okay, so let's make a second one of these out of that 16 gauge. So I'm going to basically do the same thing, except on both ends. That's a pretty good match as far as the length anyway. Fine-tune the shape a little bit. That's close. Let's try and make a second one like that. Starting to get close there. This one's a little curvier than this one. Let's solder those together and we'll add a ring and then we'll make the little post as well. Okay, let me cool that off. We need to find some 18 gauge round wire, a little bit. I was going to make some rings around the smallest part of my veil making pliers. I need at least 3 for this one. Two of these I'm going to solder closed to start with. For those of you who've never made balls, you just melt some scrap silver on a charcoal block and it comes out pretty nice usually. I did want to thank the people who bought my ebook so far, my newest one anyway. I put one out on the beginning of January that features links to all of the videos that I made in 2024. It includes a sketch of what I was going to make, a picture of the final product, a list of materials, a difficulty rating, and even some notes I made about each project. I found it to be a good collection of information about a whole bunch of different projects all in one place, and a great way to support my channel. So check it out if you're interested. I'll add a little bit more here just to make sure we get a good solid join. And then let's put one over here. But if you're interested, I'll put a link up there for you. Just to be safe, I'm going to pick up a little extra solder because I want to get a good solid solder joint here. You'll learn over time that you need to heat the bigger pieces first and then start incorporating the little pieces that you're trying to solder to them because of the mass disparity. If you're new to this. I'm going to make it a little bit easier on my magnesia block, put this post on. So an easy way to solder posts on the back of things is to pick up a little bit of solder right on the ear wire and then heat the piece you're going to solder it to and just plunk it down there when it gets to that flow temperature. That looks pretty slick when you do it just right. We'll see if tonight's a good night for me or not. We all have days. The real trick is make sure to get the bigger piece up to temperature before you plunk this in there. I can watch that other solder join. When it starts to get a little shiny, then I'm close. And that is an easy way to put ear wires on. Okay, let's see which side looks better. We'll put that to the front. Probably that one. In the past, I probably just would have used hard silver solder and just taken the risk to do this one, but I have some paste solder now that makes it kind of easy. So I'll use a little easy paste solder maybe. So I just put the solder joint up right there. So I think this is the easy stuff. Yeah. I'll try and put just a little bit on there. There we go. Two. So I will I'll be taking a file to these. Get them all consistent and symmetrical. Alright, so I'll do that to the other one as well and pickle them, and then we'll get started on the next one. The second one, we need to make two components. We need to make our little feather down here, and we need to make our little flattened ball that we texture. So here's the ball that I used for the first, or same size ball that I used for the first one. If you want to see how to make silver balls, I'll put a link up there to a video. Okay, so I'm just going to use my chasing camera. We're going to kind of, if you're worried about shooting it across the room, you can tape it down. Okay, let me find that stamp. And I'm going to use a dead blow hammer here. You can use your brass hammer, whatever you want. Okay, I'm going to set that over there for now. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this little feather. And so to start with, I'm going to take this 8 gauge half round and I'm just going to file it kind of to a point. And I think we can probably use this as a guide for how long we want to make this one. So it should go to about right there. I like to kind of delineate where the end of the thing stops right there by cutting a little groove in there. Since we're kind of turning this into a feather shape, use that as a starting point to start shaping it into that kind of feathery arrowhead shape. So like I said, I'm going to use the edge of my chasing hammer. I kind of want to do it at an angle going down this side, this way. Okay, here's some 20 gauge. So I'm going to make some little tiny loops. I'm just going to solder those little rings on there. Theoretically. And we need to get a ring left on there. So Where'd my little disc go now? There you are. Looks good. I think that's ready for pickling. Those will be nice. Alright, let's get started on the third one. For this last one, we have two components to create as well. We've got the dangly part, and we've got this little ring with a ball. That's going to be the part that holds the post. So, let's solder these together. This is 16 gauge round that I made a ring of and just snipped a little piece out. Let's cut ourselves some fresh solder. You could probably do this without pick soldering, but it sure makes it easier for me. Part of this is going to be flattened out and curved around there, so I think that should be enough. It'll also elongate it slightly when we're shaping it. It's almost hammer time again. So you can see I want it to flare out down here. If you look at it from the side, you can see it's thinner down here and thinner up here. So I'm going to be flattening it out in both ways, and then I'll file this sides of the upper part off. Okay, I'm going to anneal this a little bit so it's soft again. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to file this side so it's about as wide as the 12 gauge originally was. Okay, so on this one I hammered it up to about right there, maybe a little further. So we'll try and kind of keep it in that same area. nicely, so we should be able to pop that on there. And then maybe squeeze it down a little bit. Could probably solder that if you wanted to, but I don't think I need to. So, I'm almost thinking I like these ones the best, but I'm going to clean up the bottom a little bit on the new one. All right, I will pickle these and we'll get them polished up and I'll show you the final results. Okay, got everything polished up. Now our first one's up here, which I think this turned out nice. Kind of pretty. And then we have our second pair over here with a little kind of feathers. Those are nice. And then third, we have these ones. I think I like these ones the best, honestly. Tell me in the comments which ones you like the best, if any. All right, well, those are some everyday earring, kind of post earrings. Hopefully you find something useful out of this one. Enjoy. Okay, well, that was 3 kind of simple everyday earring projects. I hope that you enjoyed those. If you did, make sure to hit the like button before you go. I'd love it if you take a moment and visit my main channel page. I have 440-ish videos now. I've been doing this at 3 per week for about 3 years, so there's quite a collection there. I think you're almost certain to find some other useful or entertaining videos over there, so watch a few, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the video description down below. There's some important links there. You can get one of those nice design idea books like I showed you. There's a link to my new ebook, my 2024 guide, which has a ton of projects right at your fingertips, so that's worth downloading, I think. There's even a link to my Patreon site if you're interested in finding out more about that community. It's a really nice place. So, all right, well, thank you for watching. Take care. Happy silversmithing.